Hello everyone. Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, is a vibrant city set against the vast plains of Eurasia. Its name means City of the Hero in Old Mongolian. Ulaanbaatar is not just the political and economic hub of the country, it's a unique blend of tradition and modernity. However, it's also the coldest capital in the world, with harsh weather that can really bite. Let's dive into the fascinating features of Mongolia's capital. Every day is different here, and in today's video, let's dive in. As we all know, Ulaanbaatar is the capital and largest city of Mongolia, located right in the heart of the country. It's about 370 kilometers north of the Chinese border and around 200 kilometers south of the Russian border. Ulaanbaatar is quite isolated, sitting at slightly towards the east of central Mongolia, and it's located by the Tuul River, which is a tributary of the Selenge River, nestled at the foot of the Bogd mountain. It's a wide mountain covered by forests, sitting 2,250 meters south of Ulaanbaatar. It forms the boundary between the southern steppe and the northern forest steppe. This area is also one of the oldest protected reserves in the world, legally protected since the 18th century. Because it's located at a high altitude, relatively far inland, and hundreds of kilometers from the coast, along with the influence, Ulaanbaatar is the coldest capital city in the world, experiencing a cold semi-arid climate. The area is influenced by the monsoon and sits almost on the boundary between a subarctic climate and a humid continental climate. The city features a short, warm summer and a long, cold, freezing winter. January is usually the coldest month, often just before sunrise, with temperatures ranging from 36 to -40 degrees Celsius and little to no wind due to temperature inversions. Moving on to Mongolia, we definitely have to mention the Tuul River, an important river in the region, with the capital, Ulaanbaatar, located right next to it. The Tuul River is one of the main water sources for the area. The river is super important for the capital city and the surrounding areas because it provides water for drinking, farming, and other activities in the urban area. This river also supplies water for irrigation, especially in the rural areas nearby. It's a crucial water source for growing crops and raising livestock. The river is home to a lot of different plants and animals, including species like sturgeon, and has vegetation along the banks. The ecosystem around the river helps maintain biodiversity. The biological diversity in the Tuul River area has been really important culturally for the Mongolian people throughout history. The river has been mentioned in many legends and folk songs, playing a key. One popular legend about the river Tun talks about its origin. According to the story, the Tun River is seen as a gift from the gods, with a tale that a water deity created this river to provide precious water for the area and sustain life. Prosperity for the land around this creation is seen as an act of compassion and protection for the Mongolian people. According to some local legends, the river is thought to be home to a guardian spirit, which could be a dragon or some mythical creature. This spirit is believed to guard the river from threats and ensure that the water source remains clean and plentiful. Locals often perform rituals and ceremonies to honor and show respect to this spirit. This is to keep the river and the surrounding land protected. Even though the Tun River isn't the main transportation route, it still plays a role in moving goods and people in the area. Small boats and other. The city of Ulaanbaatar really stands out because of its history, which reflects the ups and downs of Mongolia over the centuries. It all started in 1639 as a mobile camp for Buddhist monks from a certain tradition. Under the leadership of leader Lob Sangdazan, a place called Oko, meaning camp, was established near what is now a city. By 1778, the city's location was moved to its current spot near the Tun River and the surrounding mountains. At that time, the city developed into an important commercial and religious center, also known as Zuri, which means big camp in Old Mongolian. The 19th century marked a period of growth and change for the city, with notable developments occurring around 1820. It was officially recognized as a city and became an important political and religious center of ancient Mongolia. Under the rule of the Qianch Empire during this time, the city continued to grow and expand, influenced by an increasing presence of Chinese and Russian merchants. In 1911, Mongolia declared independence from China, and Ulaanbaatar became the heart of the independence movement. However, this shift led to a period of political and military instability. The 20th century marked an era of independence and reform for the capital of Mongolia. In 1919, after a rebellion against the Chinese Empire and Soviet intervention, Mongolia gained independence and established the Mongolian People's Republic. Ulaanbaatar was chosen as the capital of the new nation and began a modernization process influenced by the Soviet Union. 3 years later, Ulaanbaatar was officially recognized as the capital of the Mongolian People's Republic. The city. underwent various reforms and infrastructure development, including the construction of government buildings, schools, and hospitals, starting from 1960. In 1980, Mongolia continued to develop under the leadership of the communist government, with significant investment from the Soviet Union in infrastructure and industry. By 1990, Mongolia transitioned from a socialist system to a market economy, and Ulaanbaatar saw a major shift with the capital began attracting international investment and underwent rapid changes, blending its rich historical legacy with the modern development of Mongolia. Before it was called Ulaanbaatar, this city had several names, including Bogd Kri, which comes from a folk song honoring Bin Kri. BC Din Kri, also written as Ban, is an important historical figure in the history of Mongolia. He was a significant religious and political leader who played a key role in shaping modern Mongolian history. He became the last king of Mongolia in 1911 when Mongolia declared independence from China, and later, in 1924, Mongolia became a republic. Boc Khan was overthrown and passed away in 1924. His regime's collapse marked the end of the traditional dynasty and the establishment of the Mongolian Republic. At that time, the city's name was changed to Ulaanbaatar, meaning Red Hero, in honor of Mongolia's national hero, Gandan Sukbator. Born in 1893 and dying in 1923, he is considered one of Mongolia's most important national heroes and is recognized as the founder and leader of the movement for Mongolia's independence from the ruling dynasty Tan, and then there's China. He's also known as a father of the Mongolian Revolution and a major figure in the country's modern history. Back in 1911, when the Xinhai Revolution kicked off in China, Mongolia declared its independence under the leadership of a committee. By 1919, Chinese troops had retaken Mongolia, which sparked outrage among the people. He emerged as an outstanding military leader and led the resistance against the Chinese occupation. He organized military campaigns and achieved several significant victories under the leadership of the Mongolian army, with support from the Soviet Red Army, which fought against Chinese forces and those controlled by White Russian forces. This led to the declaration of Mongolia's complete independence in July 1921. He was nicknamed the Hero of the River because he was believed to be able to melt ice and draw water from a frozen stream, symbolizing perseverance and strength after Mongolia gained its independence. Subat continued to play a key role in building the new revolutionary government and protecting Mongolia's autonomy against foreign forces. Gandan Subat died suddenly in 1923 at the age of 30, and the cause of his death is still a controversial topic. Some believe he was poisoned, but there's no solid evidence for that. His statue is still located in the central square of the capital, which is also a hub for cultural exchange and showcases the unique culture of Mongolia through various cultural activities and events. The events happen regularly in the capital, where there's a statue of Genghis Khan, ranging from formal places to simple spots in tents, along with decorative patterns in the furniture around the monument. Combined with the Grand Museum of Genghis Khan, who's depicted as a fierce figure on horseback. Right now, Ulaanbaatar is the largest urban center in Mongolia, home to about 1.5 million people. The city continues to deal with urbanization issues, but it's also a key destination for tourists and businesses. The capital plays a crucial role in maintaining and developing Mongolian culture, while also opening the door to global economic connections. Ulaanbaatar is at the center of the national economy and reflects the rapid and diverse growth of the city. The service sector dominates the city's economy, covering areas like banking, insurance, real estate, and tourism. The development of infrastructure and shopping centers has boosted growth in the service industry. Although the industrial sector is smaller in Ulaanbaatar's economy compared to services, the city has many important manufacturing facilities. The main industries include food processing, building materials production, and machinery manufacturing. The construction sector is rapidly growing, with numerous projects for high-rise buildings, residential areas, and infrastructure. Increased investment in real estate and construction has led to a boom in this industry. Ulaanbaatar is a highly urbanized city, but agriculture and livestock farming still play a role. The city's economy is definitely influenced by being a key market for agricultural and food products from the surrounding rural areas. This has attracted a lot of international investment, especially in energy infrastructure and finance. Ulaanbaatar has become a hotspot for investors thanks to economic growth however, this rapid development has also led to air and water pollution in Ulaanbaatar, particularly in winter when coal use for heating goes up. Mongolia is famous for this. Mongolia has these beautiful green meadows, but ironically, its capital, Ulaanbaatar, is one of the most polluted cities in the world. The level of fine particulate matter, PM2.5, which is less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter, was recorded at a shocking 3,320 micrograms per cubic meter in Ulaanbaatar. Last January, 133 times above the safe limit set by the World Health Organization. This issue has been a headache for Mongolia for years, and they still haven't managed to solve it. About 1.5 million people live in Ulaanbaatar, which is nearly 50% of Mongolia's population. Many people are migrating from other regions in search of a better life. They live in traditional tents of nomads called gurl. When winter hits, bringing the coldest temperatures in the world down to -40°C, they burn anything they can to keep warm, from coal to plastic waste. This contributes to air pollution in Ulaanbaatar, where burning coal for heat in District C accounts for 80% of the pollution. On top of that, traffic, thermal power plants, and solid waste also release toxic smoke, leading to numerous health issues, especially for the locals. For kids, since important organs like the lungs, brain, and heart are still developing, research by UNICEF and the National Center for Public Health in Mongolia shows that children living in areas with high pollution in Ulaanbaatar have lung function reduced by up to 40% compared to those in rural areas. To tackle this issue, local authorities banned internal migrants from coming to Ulaanbaatar until 2020. Except for those needing long-term medical treatment or who had bought a home. Here, it's not just about environmental pollution, uneven development has led to a widening gap between rich and poor. Some areas of the city are thriving while others remain impoverished. The city has rapidly expanded with the strong growth of new neighborhoods, and there's been an influx of people migrating from rural areas to the city in search of job opportunities and better living conditions. This population increase has worsened the issue of wealth disparity, affecting many residents. People live in slums or poorer areas where basic infrastructure like clean water, sanitation, and public services are lacking. These areas often have a lot of migrants from rural areas and low-income families. In contrast, the central and newly developed parts of the city, like upscale neighborhoods and commercial zones, have better living conditions and modern infrastructure. This is where many entrepreneurs, high-income workers, and families reside. The Mongolian government has rolled out several policies aimed at narrowing the wealth gap and improving living conditions for its people. This includes infrastructure development projects, education and healthcare system reforms, and social support programs. Many NGOs and international organizations are also getting involved in projects to enhance living conditions, provide support to poor communities, and promote sustainable development. Even though industrializing the country is necessary, Mongolia is still holding on to its roots. Mongolia, known for its rich history, has around 67 million livestock as of 2022. With its vast territory and low population, there's plenty of space for grazing. Most animals in Mongolia roam freely on natural pastures, following traditional practices that have been around for thousands of years. Livestock also serve as a key source for many traditional Mongolian products like fur, leather, and unique wool. Cashmere fur from Mongolia is super famous around the world for its high quality. So when you visit Mongolia, especially Ulaanbaatar, you'll notice that meat is the main food here. Besides that, you'll find lots of fur and wool items for sale, making it easy for tourists to grab some souvenirs. Even though Ulaanbaatar is still a city worth visiting, thanks to its unique Mongolian beauty and sights. First up, you have to check out the large Buddhist monastery nearby. The most important thing about Mongolia is that it's not just a major religious center, but also a popular tourist destination, thanks to its impressive architecture and rich history. The Gandan Monastery was established in 1838 during the Qing dynasty and has been a hub of Buddhism in Mongolia for centuries. It's a place for religious activities, training monks, and preserving Mongolian Buddhist traditions. The monastery also features several stupas and smaller buildings, all showcasing traditional Buddhist architecture that symbolizes peace. One of the highlights of the monastery is the Mikan Rik Buddha statue, which stands 26.5 meters tall and is made of bronze with a gold plating. It's one of the largest Buddha statues in the world. Back in 1930, during a time of heavy religious oppression under the Soviet regime, many monasteries and Buddha statues across Mongolia were destroyed or abandoned. The Mikan Rik statue at the Gandan Monastery was no exception. It was taken down and transported to the Soviet Union. However, there's a legend that just before the statue was destroyed, a miracle happened. The statue suddenly lit up, and you could even hear breathing coming from inside it, like the Buddha was alive. This freaked out the people who were trying to destroy it, and they stopped until the statue was taken away. Locals also believe that the statue, which was rebuilt in 1996 after Mongolia broke free from Soviet influence, has the power to protect the monastery and the city of Ulaanbaatar from disasters and wars, including a major earthquake at the end of the 20th century. The monastery and the surrounding areas are still safe. If you've made it to the capital, you definitely shouldn't miss a visit to Bogd National Park, one of the oldest nature reserves in the world with a history that goes back centuries. Bogd was officially recognized as a nature reserve in 1778 during the Tang dynasty, making it one of the first protected areas globally. It's home to a rich variety of plant life, including many rare species and pine forests, as well as birch trees. There are a ton of plant species here that have medicinal value and are used in traditional Mongolian. The area is home to a variety of wildlife, including wolves, foxes, snow leopards, brown bears, and many native bird species. It's also an important spot for conserving rare animals. Bogd has long been considered a sacred mountain, believed to be the resting place of a powerful deity who can control the weather and prevent disasters. Protecting the people from disasters. When the city is in danger, a god will appear in the form of a giant eagle soaring in the sky to guard the sacred land. Visitors often come here to pray and take part in traditional religious ceremonies in the park, which not only has trees and animals but also many important temples and religious sites, like the Monastic temple. There's a story that in the 1930s, when the communist regime was cracking down on religion, a group of monks prayed all night to protect the monastery. The next morning, after the government forces arrived at the monastery, they discovered that all the monks had vanished without a trace. The locals believed that the monks had been protected by Buddha and taken to a safe place in another world. Ulaanbaatar, the coldest capital city in the world, has a harsh climate but possesses a unique beauty. It's like a contrasting painting where ancient temples filled with mysterious legends blend seamlessly with modern buildings. The blend of traditional religion with modern architecture and the developing urban areas in this city showcases the diversity and richness of Mongolian culture. The beautiful natural landscapes, like the parks, also make Ulaanbaatar a memorable destination. That's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for your support. Don't forget to follow the channel so you won't miss out on other interesting videos. See you next time.